Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. My name's Chase with By the Blood Ministries. I'm a Christian that loves heavy metal. I love going out to heavy metal shows. I love talking to people about Jesus at these shows, and that's also a big thing I want for this channel, is to go out to metal shows and do evangelism. Last week I was able to go out and see a band called Blood Incantation on their Absolute Elsewhere tour. They played the whole album in its entirety, and it was just awesome. Really great band, and the music was fantastic. They also played with Cynic, which was super cool, super awesome to see them live as well. And I got to have some really awesome conversations with people, and you're about to see one of them that I was able to record. I had two more conversations besides this that I did not record, and stay tuned to the end of the video. I want to talk about those conversations and why I didn't record them. And just real quick before I get started, something that I learned going out and doing evangelism at metal shows is that you're kind of on a hidden timer. And what I mean by that is that you start a conversation with people not knowing when it's going to end, because people want to go see their band play, right? They want to go see their favorite bands play, and so, you know, kind of as soon as you start hearing them playing, you know, that's when the conversation kind of cuts off and they get, you know, going to their seats, which I mean, I totally respect. And so that's kind of what happened with this conversation here. You know, it was a really great conversation all around, and they had some really interesting thoughts on blasphemy and in metal. And so hope you enjoy the video. Stay tuned as I to the end of this conversation as I talk more about the other conversations that I had that night, and also the follow-up. I was able to follow up with these guys after the show, and yeah, check it out. Awesome, dude. Appreciate you guys doing this quick interview. We were just kind of talking about organized religion, blasphemy. You kind of said, hey, I wish we were recording some of the stuff that we were talking about before. Kind of give me a quick summary of what we were just talking about.
I mean, offhand, you had asked me what, like, I appreciated about blasphemy themes, and I don't know, I just feel like any art that pisses people off is obviously hitting home somewhere. Maybe there's room to look inward if somebody is really offended by really, truly blasphemous shit. Like, I get it. Some people are very attached to their faith. I think that's wonderful. It helps a lot of people. It does a lot of harm to other people. So I think we are free to blaspheme, you know? If their dogma is correct and I don't know shit about fuck, we still are left to our own free will. So,
yeah.
I think there's a lot to say there, but
yeah. You used the word subversive, kind of pushing boundaries. You even said that even a lot of your religious family members wouldn't even welcome you at any gatherings. That's right?
Yes, I'm in the past for sure. I'm in the past for sure. And yeah, like, on the note of, like, blasphemy, my sister is gay, so she's not welcome on that account. She looks nothing like me, is not into a counterculture or anything. She's, like, going to school to become a dentist. I'm so proud of her. But squeaky clean girl, just into women, so now she's not allowed. You know, their dogma says otherwise. I think that's pretty fucked up, so if they're free to condemn us, why not? Why not subvert the view and condemn them back?
Definitely. I kind of asked you, do you think the blasphemy is more towards Jesus or organized religion? And you said a little bit of both, but I want to hear what you guys think about the person of Jesus.
I guess I'd say metal has like its own, anger towards organized religion and Jesus, both like simultaneously. There's certain artists really just against the whole, judgmental, attitude of organized religion, but then some people are just very anti-Jesus whatsoever, like Deicide. So I guess Deicide be like, a band that's very vehemently anti-Jesus, and then you have a lot of other bands that are just like, just very critical of organized religion and the fucking, the bias it pushes towards art and just society in general and whole. So, yeah, so, there's a lot of bands that have a lot of just stuff that's very critical of just monotheistic religion in general. That, and I find a lot of interest in it, and some of it's very philosophical. So, I had a religious upbringing, and I'm somewhat of an ex-Catholic, but I've found a lot of solace with the philosophical, aspects of heavy metal and death metal in general, and I enjoy a lot of it. So,
what was kind of the breaking point for you? You grew up Catholic. What was kind of like the turning point when you're like, I don't want anything to do with this anymore?
Maybe listening to Tool Opiate EP and then listening to the lyrics of fucking Death, of like Symbolic, especially Crystal Mountain, dude, like that type of shit. So that type of shit can really have a philosophical impact on your upbringing and dissecting those lyrics and really kind of looking at things like, okay.
Yeah, one of my favorite lines from that song is inflicting wounds with a cross-turned dagger. Dude, crazy.
That's
Chuck.
That's kind of an early, post, adolescent, apostasy right there. Just listen to that type of shit. Can kind of make you just what's the reason even attending church next Sunday? And it'll make you just really question a lot of things. But that's what I embrace about heavy music and shit, so it's changed my perspective on everything, reality, and
I look at that song and I feel like, man, because I think that was written about Chuck's neighbor. Like, he had a really hard time with his neighbor, and his neighbor would, always give him a hard time for rehearsing in his garage, and was, very mean, hateful towards him.
The time it still happens.
Yeah, there's been a lot of horrible things done in the name of religion. You really liked how people kind of pushed the boundaries with heavy metal. Have you guys ever read any of the life of Jesus to see how he pushed the boundaries of the people of his time? Are you familiar with any stories of Jesus?
Probably not enough to talk at great length, but I did attend, quite a bit of not Sunday school, but a lot of extracurricular religious stuff. We were read scriptures quite a bit, so it's little tidbits, little antidotes. I think I have an idea of what that figure was, obviously. So it's I'm not here to condemn anybody's dogma, end all be all, but to blaspheme, the right to blaspheme, I defend that heavily. But no, to answer your question, I don't think I'm acquainted enough with the Bible to speak at length on it.
I'll say I've never read the Bible, so tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like from what I have understood that Jesus he was a rebel, and in the world he was he would stand against what's going on, and I feel like I identify with that myself. I'm not saying, myself, am I a Christ-like figure? Well, that's up to other people to that, but
Dude, 100%. I think you are totally right on. He was very rebellious. In fact, he kind of started his ministry in a time when the religious leadership became very political, and they were very politically motivated. They loved, Jesus says, you love the chief seats. You love to make your phylacteries long. You love it when other people see you pray and are watching you and giving you the glory. They're kind of missing, the whole point, where they love all the attention.
There's no connection to God.
Yeah. And you see Jesus in those moments, he literally walked in the temple and would flip the tables over because they were selling stuff in God's house. And dude, this is something crazy that Jesus says to the religious leaders. He says, truly I say to you, prostitutes and tax collectors enter into the kingdom before you do. He's saying that about the religious leaders. Have you ever thought about that before? And how Jesus actually dined with sinners and tax collectors and prostitutes? He actually spent time with them and would have conversations.
That's kind of the whole point. I think it was supposed to be this love thy neighbor thing, and it's kind of, I think, a lot of systems that profit off of religion and kind of push that on people don't operate under the same beliefs or philosophy at all.
Yeah, 100%. Do you know what the main message of Jesus was?
I would say love thy neighbor, but I don't know exactly.
Like I said, not acquainted enough to know what exactly, and just maybe one sentence. but I have to imagine it's something to the effect of just do as you would want, done to yourself. Don't fucking bother anybody that's not fucking bothering you, and help those that you can. Seek to help those that you can, and seek higher knowledge of any sort.
Yeah, he said the 2 greatest commandments were love God and love your neighbor as yourself. And I mean, it didn't seem like Chuck experienced the love of his neighbor who called themselves a Christian,
I've experienced a lot of shitty neighbors that probably did that under the names of religion that was
I would go so far as to say that's just how Christians show their love, a lot of them, but...
Yeah, man, it's unfortunate.
Because I know a lot of great people of the Christian faith, too.
Do you guys believe in the existence of a God?
Yeah, it's like probably a different kind of concept than maybe any sort of organized religion, nothing like that, but something that's kind of abstract. I think, what was the most common thing in Socrates' philosophy is knowing that you know nothing, and the truth is for me, I mean, it's like we don't know. Our planet, our solar system is a speck in this universe that we know fucking nothing about, and we're learning a little more and a little more, but the truth is we're just living our lives like, we're going about it. You got to live your life to the fullest and do the best you can do.
Life is about the small things, I'd say. Just make memories, cherish those you love, be good to each other, and try to heal from stuff that you've been wounded in the past. If you're hurting, there is help out there. You don't need a dogma to help yourself. You only need yourself to help yourself. People have been really down and out. I've seen people on the edge of death, and they've turned it around. They've turned it around, and they didn't need anything extra to do it. All they needed was to realize that's what they needed to do. So,
what do you guys think happens after you die?
I don't know what I think happens, but what I'm hoping happens is that I close my eyes, and then all the pain stops, and then this black void that I can't seem to remember from when I was like before I was born. I want to go back there. Endless, dreamless sleep. The void, black, infinite black. Never again do I feel or experience anything. That's what I want.
Interesting. Okay.
Wonderful. To just sleep.
Just nothingness.
Just sleep. That's what I can define it as. I just want to sleep when I'm done.
What about you? What do you think happens after you die?
I mean, a little bit of that. I don't think anything happens, and I'll never know. And I think people need to take comfort in thinking they know what'll happen. But for me, it's like I'll accept whatever. But I would like to just be in a place of euphoric chill, euphoric relaxedness as well. I could never say.
Okay.
There's so much more to the universe that we don't understand. So I'll never actually know, but I hope it's cool. I hope it does
whatever it is.
I hope it treats us well.
I hope it's at least on par with the good times in this corporeal realm, or better. That'd be cool.
I hope it's.
If it's worse, whatever. I guess we'll live with that too.
What can we do though? It's coming if it's worse.
Whatever. If
it's worse, if it's better, we gotta live this existence we have now to the best we can.
You said you like to try and be a good person. What's your standard of? What's your standard of good?
Being good is not doing harm to others first of all, and taking care of the people you can. That's the thing of the love thy neighbor that I do like. It's like love thy neighbor, love thy gay or whatever, black or this or that, or there's so many systems that keep people apart from each other. Oh, you don't like these people, you don't like these people. It's like, no, just you don't know who someone is. Love them until if you really got a reason to not like someone, that's different. But take care of each other, man. Take care of each other.
So you guys don't believe in a heaven or hell?
I wouldn't say that I don't believe it. I just don't know if the current interpretations that we have are quite what awaits us. I think that whatever's at play in the grand scheme of things is far beyond comprehension, and whatever heavenly bliss we will feel or whatever absolutely grisly fucking torment we will feel is far beyond our current understanding of any sort of existence. I don't think there's some all-knowing God ready to send us where he deems fit, but wherever we're going, I just hope it's going to be, like I said, on par with the decent times or good times here, or better if it could be. But we'll deal with what we deal with. We don't have a choice. We're thrown into this shit, man.
True. Everybody's gonna die one day, and we're,
None of us asked to be born, Some of
we're just here, man.
Some of us, think about that at great length. Yeah. Wow, I've been through a lot. I don't want to do anything like what I've experienced. The worst parts of my life, I never want to go through that again, and I know that worse awaits me. So sometimes I'm like, fuck, dude. I wish I just never was fucking here. And then I watch fucking It's a Wonderful Life, and I'm like, great, God is good, blah blah blah. No, it's never like set in stone. The human experience is hopeless and constantly gleaning. It's polarized. Sometimes you feel like you're God. Sometimes you feel like He is just stepping on you every fucking day. It's never like a set in stone sort of deal, in my opinion. The human experience is just like a constant variable.
Interesting.
Moment to moment, day to day.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, for the afterlife thing, I think a lot of people have for me anyway, kind of a cartoon way of thinking of it, like, oh, heaven is this place in the clouds, and there's this bearded dude who's just judging and looking at you, and hell is this place under somewhere and all in flames and demons and shit. But I mean, I don't know. That's all just what's been told to me. But afterlife, who knows, man? I would like to think there's something nice out there. I think a lot of people that are, maybe even labeled bad people have just had bad things put onto them. I don't know how many people are actually truly bad in their soul. That I don't know. Life is tricky, man. You're born into bad circumstances. It makes you want to do bad things just to survive. I don't know if that makes someone a bad person, but can make the world trickier. So I don't know. It's a really tough
line on
it's
this
really
subject. There's
exactly.
good people forced to do unreasonable shit every fucking day,
That's
but you don't want to fail to discern between them and a truly evil person who will cut you down for no fucking reason.
Do you enjoy doing bad things just to create bad, in the universe, to create negative issues, or are you just stuck and you have no way to get out of it because that's a situation you're put into? I don't know. That's far out, man.
I gotta cap it here, man. I gotta see the rest of the
I gotta see it.
Okay.
Sorry. It was good
For
to meet
sure.
you, bro.
Dude, nice meeting you guys.
I'm gonna plug my band. Check out Wiccan Band on Instagram. Thank you.
Okay.
And,
plug your band if you want.
I'll just plug my Instagram handle. I'm just at Doolb666, DOOLB 666 on Instagram. All my band handles are on there. I run a YouTube channel as well. I review horror films. Done that for like 15 years. Pleasure, dude.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
And check out By the Blood. It's called By the Blood on YouTube. We're actually going around and we're trying to...
I'll be subbing you.
Yeah, sick, man. Yeah, we're actually trying to go around because we realize that a lot of people, especially metalheads, have been hurt by the church, and we're coming out here to shows as Christians, and we really want to get your guys' perspective on it, and maybe share.
Wonderful discourse, if I do say so myself.
I
appreciate
like
that.
These kind of conversations. I think they're important. So thank you, man.
Yeah, and maybe we can connect after the show and talk more.
We'll be around.
Because I think really Jesus is misunderstood, and I think, like you were saying, I think he would actually disagree with a lot of the things happening today, and he was quite a rebel himself and very subversive,
That's
pushing
what
the
I've been led
boundaries.
to understand. I never knew the fellow.
Yeah. You can know him, though.
I wish he'd return my calls. That's good. The last thing
Yeah,
I'd like to
party
say
with him.
is
Jesus,
that
if you're listening,
if he
man.
returns my calls, one day we will talk, brother.
What do you mean return your calls? Have you prayed to him?
I feel like I've reached out plenty, man.
Jesus, if you're listening, bro, we'll shotgun some beers after the show. We'll hang out.
Sidewalk slam with your name on it, J-Man.
Yeah, let's go.
Jesus.
Much love.
Okay, let's talk after the show because Jesus is very real, and I know that. We'll talk about it some more. Well, hey, dude, enjoy the show, guys. Nice meeting you guys. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. It was really awesome meeting those guys and talking with them about blasphemy and hearing a little bit about what they thought about Jesus. And I was actually able to reconnect with them after the show. And that's something that my friend and I were praying for all night, that we would be able to talk with those guys again. And, as we were walking out to our cars, we saw them and we were able to continue a little bit of that conversation. Although it was quite late, when we reconnected with them and they kind of wanted to get home. And I respect that. But we were able to talk a little bit more about prayer and able to connect them to the YouTube channel. And so, hey, if you guys are watching, it was nice meeting you guys. And I hope you'll check out more of the videos and let me know what you think. I'm learning so much recording these things and watching them back as I'm editing the videos. And I think one thing that I'm learning, especially with this hidden timer, that these guys are going to cut the conversation short to go see their band play, right? And so I think I've learned that I really kind of need to get into the gospel. I tend to ask a lot of questions. I think you see that in this video here. I think I asked maybe too many questions. I don't think it's a bad thing to ask questions, but I think there was a lot of times that I noticed, and I was even looking at myself like, dude, why didn't you just go for it right there? Like when I asked, hey, have you heard the message of Jesus? Right? I feel like I should have gone for it and, shared the gospel with them right then and there. But I kept asking questions, So, like I said, I'm learning, and I was kind of expecting maybe to have a little bit more time to talk with them, but I'm learning, hey, you don't have much time as you think. Anyways, great conversation regardless, and, be praying for those guys that they would hear the gospel, that they would just come to genuine repentance and genuine saving faith in Jesus Christ. And I was able to have 2 more conversations that night that I didn't get on video. And one of them, they just didn't want to be recorded. And so I respect that. And here's the thing, when I go out to these shows to do evangelism, I want to prioritize that before YouTube, right? And so if I'm talking with these guys and connecting with them, and there's an opportunity to share the gospel, I don't want to just abandon that conversation just because they don't want to be recorded. So the next conversation we were able to have, didn't record it. They didn't want to be on film. And, but we were still able to have a really great conversation. And one of the guys was wearing an Ozzy shirt, and so I got to ask him, hey, what do you think about Ozzy's death? How did that affect you? And do you believe in life after death? And, it's interesting, as soon as we started talking about spiritual things, the Bible, life after death, and I was actually able to share with him that Ozzy received a Bible before he died, and that Ozzy was stoked about it and loved that thing. And so but as soon as we started talking about that, he kind of got a little defensive and was like, well, science, right? We can't prove anything about the Bible. And so I wasn't really receptive to some of the things that I was saying. But the next conversation I had, though, was fantastic. It was really, really amazing. And the reason I didn't record this conversation was it was just going so well, and it felt so intimate, and we were all just kind of, sitting on this couch together, and, just didn't feel right to just all of a sudden say, hey, real quick, can I start recording this, right? And so, it just didn't feel right. So although this conversation was really awesome, I would have loved to record it. It just didn't really feel right at the time. So we were at a venue that had a ton of couches, right? I'd never been to a venue before that had so many lounge areas. And so people were just kind of hanging out on these couches, and we noticed this guy, he was sitting by himself, and we decided to go and sit down next to him and introduce ourselves. And his name was Levi, right? I'm like, this is perfect, a biblical name, Levi. And so we were kind of getting to know him, getting to know his story a little bit. And I asked him, hey, have you ever thought about where your name comes from? And he was like, you know what, I have, right? It's a Jewish name. And so we start talking about, the Levitical sacrificial system and the Levites and the priests and, what they had to do in the Old Testament to cleanse and forgive sin, right? And it was just such a great conversation. It was so awesome. And he was just like, hey, I'm going to go get another beer real quick. But I love this conversation. I'm going to come back. And so as this guy's getting his beer, these 2 other guys come and sit down at the couch. They're like, hey, is anybody sitting here? And I'm like, oh, we'll make some room. And these 2 guys sit down, Matthew and Jonathan, another 2 more biblical names. And I was just like, this isn't a coincidence, right? And so they all sit down, and I'm like, I literally said this, I'm like, everybody has a biblical name here except for me. You have Levi, Matthew, Jonathan, and then my friend Josh was sitting next to me, right? Joshua from the Bible. And so it was just such an awesome conversation. Those 2 guys, Jonathan and Matthew, they hopped right into the biblical name conversation. I was able to say, hey, we're talking about Levi at his name, and you guys have biblical names. And I was able to share, about Matthew, the disciple, Jonathan, David's best friend, and we just had a really amazing conversation talking about the Bible, talking about Jesus, talking about the gospel. And I got to share the gospel with these guys and share the good news of Jesus, especially since we were talking about the Levitical sacrificial system and how that is fulfilled now in Christ, and how Jesus is the ultimate sacrifice for our sins. And man, these guys were locked into this conversation. It was amazing, such a big difference between this other guy that I was talking to who was kind of pushing back and science, it's not like these guys didn't push back at all. They had their questions, they had their, reasons why they didn't believe. But man, again, the hidden timer thing, and, Matthew and Jonathan, they're like, hey, we love this conversation. We're going to head back to our seats though, for the show. And before Matthew left, I was like, dude, go read your book. You said you've never read the Bible before, but you just got to give it a chance at least once. And so Matthew was like, okay, I'm going to go check that out. I'll read it. I have to do it at least once. So be praying for Matthew, and that he would go and read the Gospel of Matthew, that he'd hear the words of Jesus, that he'd recognize who Jesus really is, that he'd be saved. But that was such an awesome conversation with them. And we got to keep talking with Levi, and really, really powerful conversation with Levi. He actually works in the vape, marijuana, kind of smoke industry. And so I was able to just share with him, man, none of this stuff is going to actually satisfy you or fill that void. It's only Jesus Christ. And you could just see it on his face that really affected him. That he kind of was like, yeah, man, that's so true. And, Levi, he was a really interesting person to talk to. I really enjoyed the conversation. But he was a little all over the place. He was kind of just like, you're probably right. You're probably wrong, about the same thing. And so, but we did get to share the gospel with Levi, which was just so awesome. And so pray for Levi that he would be saved, that he would just continue to think about these things as he's, feeling, trying to, fill something or suppress something with these drugs, all these substances and stuff. He told me about, all the stuff that he did. And so I just pray for him that he would come to genuine repentance, genuine saving faith in Christ. And yeah, thank you guys so much for checking out these conversations. And I hope that they're encouraging to you, although didn't get them on video. Hey, one more thing before you guys go. Thanks for staying tuned to the end of the video. And I just want to say thank you so much for everyone who's watched and commented. And I'm just so encouraged by the comments, even the haters, right? But man, especially my brothers and sisters in the Lord who also listen to metal, who've commented and just have gotten so much out of these videos. I'm just so encouraged by that. And I'm glad that these videos have been encouraging to you guys. And I just wanted to ask something from you if you've gotten a lot out of this content and want to see more of it. I just wanted to ask for your support for this ministry. And I love going out to metal shows, and there's a ton of metal shows coming up. But honestly, the reality is I can't afford to go to all of these metal shows to buy tickets. And I'm also trying to bless whoever goes with me, especially if they don't listen to metal. And they're also kind of doing me a solid filming for me and pay for their ticket too. And so really what I'm asking is for you to send me out to the mission field that I feel so called to of these metal shows. And I created a Buy Me a Coffee account. And if you'd like to, just ask that you check it out and consider supporting me financially. And that'll be in the link in the description. But if not, I totally understand. Don't feel obligated to. Really, the biggest way that you can support this ministry is by praying. Pray for the guys that you see on the video. Just pray that the content, that the gospel would go out to people, that they'd hear the gospel and be saved. Really, that's my top priority for this channel. Like, I want people to come to a genuine, saving faith in Jesus Christ. And so, thank you so much, and really appreciate it, and God bless. Elsewhere. Totally
accessible to anyone